Good day, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to another technical summary video presented by me, Letty Janse van Vuren. Our topic for today is a notice that was issued by CIPC, and it regards the filing of the CM100 applications. So these are the documents that get submitted to the Chief Master, and that is for insolvent voluntary liquidations. So let's have a look at why this was such an important issue for CIPC to be to actually go and issue a separate document and a notice on. I'm going to start off by looking at why this is important, then going through an introduction, then an overview of the actual publication, the notice, and then looking at certification requirements that are referred to in the notice, because there's a minimum requirements and there are certification requirements, two separate documents, and then I'll give you links to the two actual documents there. So if you can look at the picture story here, issued by CIPC, we are in the realm now of something that relates to companies' insolvent voluntary liquidations. And also we are looking at the documents that need to be issued and submitted to the Chief Master's office there. And then if something needs to be certified, what are the requirements? Because CIPC have clearly said that they will not accept the things that are not properly certified. And for that, we've got to go back in time and look at the document that they actually issued containing the certification requirements. So the acronyms that I'll be using, or the abbreviation CIPC, as we know, is the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission. Co-Act or Companies Act, that's just my abbreviation because I'm just lazy to type, I suppose. And then there's CM100, which is the annexure regarding the Statement of Affairs. Now, the Statement of Affairs is signed setting out the company's current financial position, or the current position financially. So that is the Statement of Affairs, and it gets submitted together with the CM1, which is and it is the annexure, and it gets then submitted together with the CM26 LIC, or the CM26 as people just refer to it. We call it the CM26 LIC, and so does CIPC. This is the actual special resolution for voluntary liquidation. All right. So it's all about how these two need to be submitted together and what the minimum requirements are. Okay, so let's go and have a look, first of all, as to why this is important. We know that the Companies Act and the regulations are there for your clients to comply with. If they don't, you've got certain reporting obligations that kick in terms of NOCLAR, which is your non-compliance with laws and regulations. So that could mean that you would need to report to management, report an RI if you're on an audit to IRBA, or if you're busy with an independent review, maybe reporting that onto CIPC, or even qualifying your audit opinion. But NOCLAR warrants reporting, all right, and that becomes very important. So as an auditor or a reviewer or an accountant, you also need to make sure that you monitor your client's compliance very closely, specifically where you are undertaking these tasks on behalf of your clients. You need to make sure that you are complying with all the relevant notices. So there's a huge awareness that you need to create whenever CIPC issues a notice, an enforcement, a practice note, a customer letter, a guidance note, you name it. The relevance to your clients, we know that they must comply, and then they must also be aware of the relevant information. As part of the introduction to this, it all starts with a Master of the High Court. The Master of the High Court, they have got to appoint a liquidator, all right? And they do that based on a completed CM100. The CM100, if it is poorly completed, they are not able to properly administer their liquidations, okay? Because the Master of the High Court is then not able to do that. So the Master of the High Court relies on the content and the reliability of the CM100 to appoint an appropriately qualified liquidator, because that'll be in terms of the Statement of Affairs. Okay, so that's then why CIPC then issued the customer notice, and they are now setting out what the requirements are on filing of CM100 applications with the Form 26 LIC in terms of the Statement of Affairs. So the Master of the High Court said then, please CIPC, won't you issue some document that tells everybody these are the minimum requirements that have got to be set and they must be adhered to if you want to complete the CM100 properly. They also said what will happen if you don't. Well, if you don't, it becomes an issue. All right, we'll look at it on the next slide, what happens if you don't. But the CM100 is only applicable to insolvent liquidations. So if there's no insolvency indicated on your statement of affairs on the CM100, well, then your client then you or the client have got to submit the COR 40.1 and the supporting documents. So only remember, we are in the realm of insolvent liquidations, and it's voluntary because we've got the 26 lick there. All right. So the CM100 submitted together with the 26 lick for companies and CCs, all of that must comply with the requirements that are set out in the list with immediate effect. So the minute, I think this was on the 16th of April, if I'm not mistaken. I remember because it was 2 months before my anniversary, and I always take note of the 16th. So immediately from the 16th of April, whatever it says in the notice 35, what these minimum requirements are, that CIPC have now said this is the minimum requirements for the CM100 to be completed. That's it, immediately. If it's not done properly, it will be rejected. CIPC will only accept certified documents that have been commissioned by a Commissioner of Oaths in South Africa, and then for the international ones, they will refer to other documents. So there's a separate practice note there when we're talking about certified documents. All right. So if we go and have a look at this at the practice note 2, we are dealing with the two very important notices here, or two documents issued by CIPC. One is Notice 35 of 2024, and the other one is Practice Note 2 of 2022, which is still relevant. So let's go and have a look. This is the actual Notice 35. This is what it looks like. Very, very long name, and as you can see, I've done it on the slide again. CIPC issued this in April, and the important thing is the requirements that are listed in here are seen as the minimum requirements by the Master of the High Court, and you have to comply with these requirements. In addition with the requirements, it will ask for something. Let's say they ask for a certified copy of an ID. If the certified copy is not properly certified, then we have a problem, because now they're saying, well, people are submitting a copy of their ID, but they're submitting one that's not certified, or they're submitting one that's not dated by the Commissioner of Oaths. So they are now once again saying, please remember the requirements for the CM100, and then also go and have a look at documents that need to be certified. Have a look at the certification requirements specifically for the ID documents in Practice Note 2. So Practice Note 2 I've summarized for you on the next 2 slides. But very important here, if the application for the CM100 does not meet the above requirements, in other words, there's no minimum requirements that are complied with, as listed in the Notice 35, and the certification requirements in terms of Practice Note 2 of 2022 is not adhered to, well, the application will simply be rejected. In addition to that, if you provide any false or misleading information on the CM100, well, it's a criminal offence in terms of the Companies Act. If you want the section 214 of the Companies Act, and then those deposing the CM100 that contain the misleading information may then be prosecuted as well. So it is a serious offence. It's not just a, oops, I missed that one, forgive me. It is a serious issue. So there has got to be great care that is taken when you complete the CM100, when you are busy compiling all the documents that need to be sent, and that the certification is done properly. So let's now quickly go and have a look at the certification requirements. Practice Note 2 of 2022 sets out the certification requirements for documents that are filed with CIPC. So these are all the documents, okay? And they're saying, you'll see I've got my little Commissioner of Oath stamp there. It's not the Commissioner of Oath stamp. This is the one that says certified, a true copy of the original, blah, blah, blah. So that's what the stamp says. So what are the certification requirements? Documents including IDs that are filed with CIPC may not be older than 3 calendar months. Now, bear in mind with me, this is not a legal requirement. There's no law in South Africa that states when you certify documents, they have to be younger than 3 months. It is just the way that people say, well, something is regarded as recent if it is within the last 3 months. Okay? The banking sector works like that. You can obtain your bank statements for the last 3 months. If you want further, you have to pay extra. So everybody works on the not older or not more than 3 months is your recent period. Okay. And also then if there are any comebacks within the 3 months, they also are saying that within the next 3 months, we should be fixing up and finalizing this application. So the certification may not be older than 3 months. It is a requirement now that CIPC are saying. And they're saying if you don't comply with this, then your application will be rejected. So this is the list. This is a not negotiable list. The Commissioner of Oaths that is busy certifying the documents or affirming any documents, he has to state the date of certification. I know I'm guilty of this. I have a certified copy of my ID that someone did for me when I was still working at CIPC, and they did not date it. And I to this day still use it because it's not dated. I don't put my own date in there because that would be unethical, but I submit it as is, and if they say to me, no, but we want the date, then I'll go and I'll have a new copy certificate. But I try my luck with an undated one. So please don't try your luck with an undated one with CIPC because it will be rejected. Only one ID or passport may appear on a single page. And in the case where we've got the new South African ID smart cards, both sides have got to be scanned in on the same single page. So if you go to Postnet or whatever and you go and do it there or you do it at your offices, make sure that the front and the back is on the same page. Same as when you do your driver's license, okay? Front and back on the same page. ID medical aid cards, front and back on the same page. Everybody wants just one page with the document there. Only validly issued passports will be accepted. Okay, so passports is also a way of verifying identity in South Africa. So if they've got a valid passport, they can then identify them and it can be certified. And remember, there is a verification process that CIPC does with the Department of Home Affairs. Well, when they are online, I must admit. But yeah, there is a verification process with that. But from your side, you've got to make sure that you only include validly issued passports. You cannot include an asylum seeker or temporary resident document as valid confirmation of identity. The only two valid confirmations of identity is number one, a South African ID or a validly issued passport. That's it. Those are the only two. And these 5 items are not negotiable. All right. This is your certification requirements. This is what needs to be certified. If you go and have a look at what they say further in this notice, and you'll see this is now the Commissioner of Oaths stamp that I'm referring to here. In South Africa, on the South African documents that are certified here, what information of the South African Commissioner of Oaths must appear on the documents? Now, I mean, I'm a Commissioner of Oaths, and I'm sure many of you are as well. They do this so that the Commissioner of Oaths is traceable for accountability purposes. CIPC will do spot checks every now and again, and they will literally go and contact them, all right? Contact the Commissioner of Oaths, or they will check to see whether or not let's say you're a member of CIPC, so my CIPC membership number there will then enable them to go and trace it to see if I am a valid member in good standing with CIPC. Right. But it must contain full name and surname, all this. The international certified documents need to be done by a notary public. Okay. So yes, CIPC will accept both South African and international notary public certifications on the international documents. So in a nutshell, please remember practice note 2, very important. Those are the 2 links to the documents that we've just spoken about. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and goodbye.